Your cat sleeps on your bed. It waits for food. It purrs when you touch it. But biologically, it is still almost identical to a wild predator. In this video, we explore why house cats are one of the least domesticated animals humans live with, and what that really means. Millions of people believe their cats trust them, but behavioral studies and feline experts point out that most are wrong without ever realizing it. The most curious thing, the signs of distrust don't look like rejection. They look like affection. Silent approaches, quick glances, even the famous exposed belly. All of this may have been misinterpreted for years. And there's a specific behavior that, if you've ever done it, may have broken your cat's trust without knowing it. But before revealing what it is, you need to understand how trust really works in the feline world. Meet Luna. Luna is not just a cat. She is a silent sentinel of the territory she inhabits. For 5 years, she has lived within the same human space. She walks the same corridors, dozes beneath the same light, recognizes sounds before they even happen. She accepts food from a human hand, observes without being seen, and sometimes she chooses the lap, not as shelter, but as permission. To human eyes, this looks like trust. But the feline world does not operate on appearances. For a cat, trust is not a feeling. It is an invisible agreement, an agreement renewed or broken every single day. While the human believes the bond is secure, Luna remains on watch. She senses the energy of a space before movement, perceives intention before touch, records silence, haste, excess, because every cat lives guided by an ancient question, passed not through words, but through instinct. Is this place still safe for me? That question does not echo once. It echoes constantly. It echoes when someone approaches too quickly, when a gaze lingers longer than necessary, when a hand intrudes before invitation. Every human response leaves a trace. Every gesture alters the invisible field between bodies. In the world of cats, nothing is forgotten. Everything is recorded in the body, the scent, the space. Trust is not lost with noise. It dissolves in silence. The cat does not confront, does not warn, does not break away dramatically. She simply gathers parts of herself. She gathers proximity. She gathers surrender. She gathers access and continues to observe. That is why understanding a cat's trust is understanding an ancestral language, one made of pause, distance, and permission. A language where what is not done matters more than any gesture. And it is exactly this silent language that we are about to reveal now. Layer by layer, signal by signal. Before what today feels like presence quietly becomes, without warning, distance. Feline trust does not arise from force. It does not respond to insistence. And it does not bend to repetition. It emerges from something older, quieter, more subtle. It is born from control. Control of space. Control of time. Control of choice. The cat does not move on impulse. It observes. Before every step, there is an invisible reading of the environment. That is why cats seek height. Shelves, trees, windows. These places are not comfort. They are watch posts. From above, the cat sees without being seen, feels without being reached, participates without exposure. There, it measures distance, calculates intention, assesses presence. When the human respects this elevated territory, something reorganizes in the field between them. Human presence ceases to be a risk and becomes a safe background. But trust does not anchor itself in space alone. It is stitched together in the smallest moments. A glance offered and withdrawn, a brief meow that tests the silence, an almost invisible entrance into the room. These moments are signals, discreet invitation, calls that do not ask for immediate response, only awareness. When these signals go unnoticed, the cat records them, not as hurt, but as learning. The message is simple and profound. This channel is not open, and the cat withdraws. But when these signals are recognized, even without touch, even without action, something takes hold. An invisible thread is reinforced. The space between bodies becomes predictable. There is also the language of the body. Cats do not greet as humans do. They do not advance. They negotiate. The approach is slow, Time stretches. Contact is never mandatory. Every movement carries a silent question. Every pause offers an exit. Consent is not declared. It is felt. And when a human learns to mirror this rhythm, when they slow down, when they wait, when they accept the no, the relationship crosses a threshold from coexistence to recognition, from tolerated presence to trusted presence. At that point, the cat does not surrender. It allows. And in the feline universe, permission is the highest form of trust. Experts in feline behavior describe trust not as an event, but as an accumulation of micro-interactions, small choices, moments almost imperceptible that together form a pattern. This may seem small, but it is not. It is not grand gestures that create a bond. It is not intense displays. It is not repeated attempts. What builds trust is coherence, the silent repetition of respected choices. This is where almost everyone gets it wrong. Research in animal behavior shows that cats tend to approach humans who maintain a predictable field around them, humans who do not invade, who do not anticipate, who do not demand a response. During initial encounters and long after them, cats show a preference for passive, stable, non-threatening presences. The cat perceives this before you do. Presences that do not compete for space, that do not pressure time, that allow withdrawal without consequence. None of this is random. Studies also identify a specific, almost ritualistic gesture known as the slow blink. When a human closes their eyes softly and for a prolonged moment, they emit a signal that, in the feline code, equates to the absence of danger. It is a gesture that communicates, "I am not on alert. I will not advance. I trust." This signal is not affection. It is evaluation. Cats who receive this signal tend to respond subtly, sometimes with another blink, sometimes with bodily relaxation, sometimes with voluntary approach. The response is not immediate, but it is recorded. When this happens, something has already been registered. Another recurring point in expert observations is respect for vulnerable zones. The belly, the paws, the base of the tail. These areas concentrate extreme sensitivity. In the feline universe, access to them is never casual. Not every approach is an invitation. When a cat exposes itself, it is not asking to be touched. It is declaring safety. It is a state, not a request. The problem is not the touch. It is the timing. Confusing exposure with permission can create a silent rupture. There is no explosive reaction. There is no warning. The cat does not react. It adjusts. Silence is the response here. Experts point out that in these cases, trust is not lost all at once. It fragments. Small fragments that are no longer offered. Approaches that no longer happen. Gestures that do not repeat. This is how trust moves or retreats. And like every feline process, this change happens without announcement. The cat's body has already decided before the human gesture. Science observes. The cat records. The bond adjusts, always in silence. Up to this point, everything seems subtle, small, almost invisible. This may seem small, but it is not. Because there is a specific behavior, common, automatic, almost instinctive for humans, that completely alters the field between you and the cat. This is where almost everyone gets it wrong. That gesture does not provoke an immediate reaction. It does not trigger escape. It does not create conflict. The cat does not react. It adjusts. It records it in the body, in scent, in space. When this happens, something has already been registered. What is most unsettling is that this mistake often looks like care. It looks like affection. It looks like attention. The problem is not the touch. It is the timing. The cat does not respond with aggression. It responds with calculated distance. None of this is random. The approach becomes shorter. The contact ends sooner. Access diminishes. Most people never notice this moment. And when the human tries to compensate with more insistence, the cat interprets it as unpredictability. The cat perceives this before you do. This is the point where trust begins to fragment. Not in a visible way, but in a definitive one. After this, the bond never returns to its original state. And the most important part is still missing. A cat's trust is not earned through effort. It is built through reading space, reading time, reading boundaries. Not every approach is an invitation. When a cat chooses to come closer, it is not asking for something. It is offering access. Permission is not given. It is felt. In the feline world, what creates a bond is not action. It is restraint, the touch that does not happen, the gesture that waits, the presence that does not press. What does not happen also leaves a trace. Cats do not break bonds loudly. They do not confront. They do not warn. The cat does not punish. It reprograms distance. When a cat withdraws, it is not moving away out of rejection. It is moving away for protection. A cat never forgets what the body has learned. That is why understanding feline trust is understanding a silent agreement, renewed every day, an agreement where the human learns to wait, and the cat decides whether to remain. This is the point that separates coexistence from bond. And if you want to understand the specific gesture that cats never forget, the one that redefines access, time, and distance, there is one final detail that connects everything, and it completely changes the way your cat sees you.